want you to take a real close look, Donald Trump. Take a real close look, President Donald Trump, and let's ask each other, is that a man or a woman? You know, I've got a problem with Don Trump. He was at one of his rallies. Is that a man or a woman, Don Trump? What would you say, Donald Trump? Is that a man or is that a woman? He spouted off in one of his rallies about, you know, somebody having long hair, and he carried on like the boob that he is. He's just a boob. That's all it is. He's a boob. And he was wanting to know, you know, is that a man or is that a woman? Now, I'm not trying to be overly critical here, but when I see people gathered up in these great big old rallies involving large numbers of people and mocking somebody because of the length of their hair. Here, Don Trump. Man or woman, Don Trump? Look at these guys. They got long hair and beards, Donald Trump. And you're at one of your early rallies carrying on about, is that a man or is that a woman? I want to move on here for just a second. I want to explain to everybody in the world that watches this video. Marijuana, which I rarely smoke at all, has served humanity for thousands of years very well. The first example, I guess, that we could cite would be cannabis. Cannabis comes from cannabis. And if anybody doesn't like the reality that canvas originated from cannabis, well, they need to read a little bit about history. Now, here's where I'm going with this point, Donald Trump. As President of the United States, why is it that you haven't legalized, totally unregulated cannabis? It's wonderful medicine. It's used to not only heal the body, but to give it nutrition. It's nutritious, Donald Trump. It's one of the most beneficial plants on the whole planet, President Donald Trump. And why is it that you haven't done something about it? While, thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of Americans are fined heavily, drug into court, arrested, and even thrown into jail. There are people in jail tonight all over the United States for simply using the cannabis plant, which this man's father gave to humanity. Some people will say, oh, look at this guy, he's got long hair and a beard, and he's just old pothead and yakety yak. Well, the point that I'd like to make to those narcissistic, arrogant boobs, I guess would be the best way to put it, they're boobs, is, I've been in the church most all my life, and I challenge anybody in the clergy, in the pulpit, in ministry. Where is it written precisely in the Holy Scriptures that mankind is not supposed to utilize cannabis? Now you pick out the book and the verses, and you pick out the sections of whatever Bible it is you're reading, and you send me in the information down below. Now, when Donald Trump at one of his little Make America Great rallies with all of his little red hats, stormtrooping around there like a bunch of Nazis, starts calling somebody out of whether or not they're a man or a woman because of the length of their hair. I got something to say to you, Don Trump. Have you looked in the mirror lately? There's a lot of people that wouldn't be caught dead with your hairstyle. What makes you so damn great, Donald Trump? The length of your hair or the BS that comes out of your mouth? Now, I'm big on freedom of speech because in America we have the liberty and the freedom to speak our minds. In fact, it's legal, Donald Trump. And to all of his supporters, it's legal to have an opinion in America, whether it agrees with Don Trump or his Trump bots or not. Colin Kaepernick, the football player that takes a knee in protest. I got a message for every Trump bot in the country. Dissent in protest and taking a silent knee is as American as apple pie. Colin Kaepernick has every right in the world to freedom of conscience and freedom of expression. And if he wants to take a knee during one of those goofbag NFL football games, he's free to do so because it's America. And when I saw Donald Trump and the people around him carrying on about Colin Kaepernick expressing his dissent, I began to realize something about Donald Trump. He thinks he's the only correct thinker that exists. He's a narcissist. He's arrogant and apparently quite constitutionally stupid. He's, what do you call it there? Oh yeah, he's a ConservaTARD. He's one of these RepubliGoofs ConservaTARDs. He's one of those yellow snowflakes. How about that, Donald Trump? Does that fit well? Yellow snowflake? Is that what you are, Mr. Trump? Because you can't get it in your cranium that freedom of expression in America is why we call it America? Now, the last thing I want to do here, folks, is show the world something about why Donald Trump is so full of nonsense. You might take a look at this group of, let's see if we can get them in here. You might take a look at this group of people blessing the baby Jesus, and you'll notice something. They've all got long hair and beards. And I would ask this question, Mr. Trump, where's your beard? You look silly without a beard, Mr. Trump. Only women don't wear beards. How about that one, Mr. Donald Trump? Only women, sissy girls, go around and don't wear beards. So the next time Donald Trump wants to spout off with his version of God Almighty Don Trump, maybe he needs to zip it. You should zip it, Donald Trump. And maybe by, I don't know, next week. How about it? Next week we let all the potheads go home. And we declare in America that canvas is what built this nation. Canvas is what built this republic. From the sails on the ships of the people who came across the Atlantic, to the coverings, the tarps on the Conestoga wagons that went west, and to huge amounts of military equipment that were used to secure the liberty, the freedom, and the independence of what we call the United States. America. Land of canvas made from cannabis. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I'll leave it right there. And Donald Trump, you know, you should really get your beard. You look silly with no beard, Donald Trump. You look like a woman. You look like a woman, Don Trump. Folks, there's not much more you can say. I guess I'll cut it short right there. And as always, hasta la vista. God bless. And Jesus, Mary, and Joseph.